Hello,
right.
hello.
All right, everybody. We're going to let everybody start jumping in here. Just getting situated. Dylan, you're in New York, right?
Yes, sir. Brooklyn, though, not Manhattan.
Brooklyn. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Where are you at?
We're both West Coast. So Eric is California and I'm up in Oregon.
Sweet. I lived in San Diego for a little over 3 years. I think it's objectively the best city in the country, but I have family and I live in the arena in New York City, so I don't think I can get out of here.
We
Eric would probably
traded
agree with you on
places
Sandy.
then, Dylan. I actually grew up in New York before moving to San Diego.
Oh, no way. I mean, that's the right pipeline. Yeah. It's right around February when it starts. It's been like almost like uncomfortably warm. Like if you know New York, it's like what? Like we're in the second half of January. It was 50 yesterday.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of scary. But now we have second winter coming, and then I'm gonna be like, Florida or
The whole
California
country is doing
sounds
this warm
nice.
spell thing. We're in the same boat. It's been a very mild winter. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're letting everybody jump in here real quick just before we get rolling. As you guys are jumping in here, though, open up your chat and make sure it works for you guys and let us know where you're coming from.
Chat, where are we from?
CT,
CT.
Connecticut, I'm assuming, right? Montana,
My,
UK. All right, Ben.
there you go.
Got some New Yorkers in here. Toronto.
Well, New York slash Connecticut. Which one is it though?
Live in Connecticut, work in New York.
Chat working, New York,
We
Union
got some San
Square.
Diego. There we go.
Yeah.
The e-commerce
Awesome.
capital of the world here in San Diego.
All right. All right, guys. Well, we'll let people start to kind of slowly meander into here as we get rocking. Let's talk a little bit about the agenda. And then we'll do a quick round of intros, and then we'll just jump straight into it. So, agenda for today is we're going to do a little bit of light teaching. The idea here is kind of as we head into 2026, a lot of things are changing, right? And so let's actually look at what we see as sort of those biggest trends that are changing in the market, and talk about how you should be adapting, specifically your storefront, adapting to those changes. And then what we'll also do here is we'll let Dylan jump in here and do what he does best, which is showing you guys where the biggest opportunities are for ramping up and finding some hidden revenue opportunities specifically on your product page. And then finally, like we always love to do, we're going to do some live site teardowns. So as we start to get through some of this initial content, I'll throw a note in the chat and let's start collecting some URLs from you guys. Anybody who's willing to sort of offer themselves as tribute today to some teardowns, we'd love to take a look at as many of those as we can, and we'll start to tackle those here in the sort of the second half of the training. So let's do a quick round of intros. So first off, Alan Burt, I'm the founder and CEO at Blue Stout. I'm joined today by Eric Myers, who's our head of optimization here at Blue Stout, and then Dylan Ander, who's the founder and CEO of Heatmap.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining today.
Appreciate you guys coming out into the How We Buy gang. If you guys are coming from the heat map side, welcome back, and I will not be nice about roasting your pages.
Well, roast. That's why I brought you back, Dylan. We had a fun time. I think the last event we did with you was in the summer, and we did. I think the teardowns were some of probably the most fun part of that last event we did. All right, so I think let's go ahead and jump straight in here. So let's talk about the agenda for today. So today, what we're going to be covering specifically is going to be the three most important shifts that we're seeing in buyer behavior right now coming into 2026. And not just sort of talking about what those buyer behavior changes are, but let's actually talk about what you should be thinking about and how you should be adapting to those changes. And we're going to be talking about that specifically through the lens of the storefront. So at Blue Stout, that is our focus. We like to think of ourselves as your storefront CMO. So we are the ones who are going to be working with you. We're working with all of our clients to optimize your storefront, whether that's through design, dev, CRO, etc., all with the goal of increasing the the average revenue for every single site visitor that is coming to the site. So everything we're talking about today is going to be talked about through the lens of how do we optimize your storefront for 2026. And we're going to start off very specifically by talking about some of these shifts that we're seeing happening in buyer behavior right now. We're also going to talk about, let's get very tactical, and let's show you guys some ways to find some of those hidden revenue opportunities right now. I know Q1 for a lot of brands can see a bit of a dip in revenue, specifically in January. So let's help you guys find some quick wins. Dylan's going to be talking about some of those revenue opportunities that he's seeing on the product page specifically. And then Eric will talk about sort of the number one optimization that he thinks and he sees most brands being successful implementing in Q1 in order to boost sales very quickly. So we'll give you guys a couple quick wins that you guys can take away and start implementing into your storefronts immediately. All right. So I think just to kick things off here, let's go ahead and dive into those three most important shifts that we're seeing in buyer behavior right now as we jump into 2026. So Eric, I'll hand this off to you and I'll let you talk through sort of this number one shift that you're seeing right now.
Awesome. In a word, what we really want to drill into is the shift in consumer psychology as it relates to the delegation of choice and what that means for structural needs of websites in 2026, especially as we begin to see a lot more shopping happen off-site when people are building intent and we're generating demand through LLM searches as well as agentic commerce. So the first one is really a broad, I think, recommendation is we're seeing an increasing importance of brand positioning and how valuable it is. Now, the reason for this is deep learning and LLM search can make a product stand out a lot more than just the marketing of it used to be. This structural shift, I think, really addresses a profound consumer pain point of decision fatigue. As digital marketplaces have become really, really crowded, the cognitive load required to make an optimal purchase really oftentimes results in decreased customer satisfaction. So as a shopper, as we offload a lot of that to LLMs, ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini, we now are utilizing the websites in a different way in that much of the internet is shifting away from being built for and consumed by humans, and more so, how are we positioning your brand as part of a consideration set? And those with the best product, not just those with the best marketing, are now better suited to be the winners among some of these shifts in consumer psychology.
So the idea being, right, like, and I think this is a bit of a shift for everybody because we've spent the last decade focusing on like creative, right? Like creative and content and marketing. I think of like, ad campaigns, right? But the idea here and like what you're saying is that because more consumers are going to LMs to discover and ask questions and query to find product, it's more important than ever that brands really deeply think through how they're talking about their products, not just how they're marketing their products, but like the actual details around the products. Is that what you mean?
100%. The more we can improve those products and refine the way that we position them, the more likely we are to stand out in all of these new customer acquisition channels. It used to be, I think, for a long time, like we've all really like hacked the customer acquisition funnel. We can get really good at marketing and such that it doesn't always have to be the best product, right? Like how often have you or anyone like made a purchase online, gotten that and been like, oh, actually like this is kind of a crappy product. It's just not that good of a product, right? I think those types of items are going to be able to fly under the radar much, much less because how deeply that research can happen really rapidly with the increased proliferation of LLMs as part of the product discovery process.
Cool. So how, if you're a brand today, what changes should like very tactically, how should you be making changes either to your storefront or to your marketing? What would be some actual, sort of next steps you take?
Yeah, so I think that positioning is really important. Whether it's in acquisition funnels and you're A/B testing different messages offsite to get people to the site, or once people arrive there, understanding which of those reasons to purchase are the most important, right? Like
Yeah.
understanding that decision tree. Okay, what's the first thing that a consumer is going to look like? Whether that's a human visit to the website or a non-human visit, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a minute. How do we position it with the most important thing first so that that's the first thing that anyone's hooking into? The better we have an understanding of the importance of the various facets of our product, more effective we can be in positioning that in a really effective way.
Right. And that positioning is taking place on the site itself in terms of how you're describing the product on the site itself. Right.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Like in the example here, you can see this product detail page brings a ton of those image or a ton of those reasons to purchase into the product imagery so that they are positioning a lot of those benefits really prominently so that users see that. I would imagine that they know from a really like data-driven standpoint which of those reasons to purchase is most important to the widest swath of their audience. And that's what ends up at the top, the text overlay on some of those top images. Then, as you scroll down in that gallery, their importance or the swath of your audience to which that's relevant declines as you scroll deeper through that image gallery.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay.
So I got some sauce here if the crowd is ready. So this is a huge yes and to what you said. To make this like crystal, like painfully actionable. So the thing about LLMs is like I've studied deep about this for a while. I actually had a SAS with uh, you know, ChatGPT 1 effectively when it was API only. So the gap is that these LLMs are not human. They will never be human. Whether you think they'll be sentient or not, I could talk about that for hours, but they are not human. They have that gap. So what do they need? Human experience. How do they get human experience? Content. Yes, on the website, it's important for messaging. I found like I've like nearly doubled my company and like I also own an e-commerce company. Like we're shredding right now on the LLMs. It's like really amazing like what's happening. And it also doesn't take forever. Like people that tell you it takes 12 months is wrong. They're just not doing it aggressively enough. Search everywhere optimization. SEO is search engine optimization. It's really search everywhere optimization. So other than just the website, you need to be everywhere. Like anywhere that you can have your company name, the more it is, the more you'll get picked up. It's just mission critical. Now, like, let's say, like, you have a dog treat company, but it's for, a specific type of dog. When people are in the LLMs, you just care about getting the training data set. Once you're in the training data set, you're either screwed or you're in great shape. And how that is exactly what Eric is talking about, which is the positioning. You need that one sentence that you hammer home, hammer home, hammer home everywhere. At one point, you got to pick and choose. Because if you go out there and you're sharing 5 or 6 different reasons, not your website, yes, but if you're making articles and content and socials and PR and all that type of stuff, and they're all different angles, the LLMs are going to be confused. Like, well, what is this product actually best for? Should I recommend it to this person, yes or no, over these other ones? So this brand positioning that Eric's talking about, you want that one sentence and get that one sentence, that long phrase, as many places on the frickin' internet as you can. Like literally a link tree is a backlink. And I'll just leave it there.
Hmm. I love it. It all comes down to refining positioning and then putting it everywhere, right?
Yep.
Yep. Love it. All right. Let's jump into number two, Eric.
Yeah, so for number two, one thing that we want to take a really close look at, really as like the tip of the spear of understanding how effective you are in appearing in a lot of those offsite places, is measuring your non-human site traffic. So the shift here is that as more users are conducting product research offsite, an increasing amount of traffic to your website is going to be non-human. Now, with Shopify, you can get like a broad stroke of what that non-human share is. That non-human share is going to include agentic visits from bots, even like malicious bots too are going to get counted into this non-human. But it gives you a good gauge of how much traffic is arriving at the site from some of these new sources, right? We're seeing anywhere, it's usually around 15 to 20% right now over the last 30 days of non-human site traffic. There's a good amount of variance in that. We've seen it as high as 30, as low as like low single digits in terms of how much non-human traffic is contributing to your overall session volume. But there's a few interesting things that you can do here in order to optimize the site such that you're serving the needs of really both of these segments, right? We used to think about segments in terms of like human segments, like, okay, here's a buyer who's purchasing for someone else, and here's a segment of buyer who is my best customer, and they come back and purchase every 17 days. Now we have to start thinking about that a little bit in terms of human segments and non-human segments. There's a lot of ways that you can structure the website to optimize for that agentic visits and bot traffic. You definitely want to make sure that the structure is clean. There's a few really rudimentary checkboxes that you want to make sure that the schema is correct and everything that is accessible is in JSON LD so that all of those different offsite LLMs can access all of the information, right? If the first step is understanding your brand positioning and how important it is, the second step is making sure that all of that information is accessible to both human users and non-human users. One interesting way to action on this is to actually create two different product detail page experiences. One of those can be built for speed, if you think of it that way, right? Those coming from an LLM have already done a ton of research. If they're clicking through to go create a human session, they've probably done a lot of research. The LLM has accelerated the speed and depth that they can conduct that product research when they're considering, like, what do I want to buy to solve this problem that I have? Then when they come to the website, they've probably already acquired a lot of information and they're ready to purchase. So guiding them towards what we call like a product detail page that's built for speed. That's going to strip out a lot of the storytelling because that's already been told off site, and it's going to prioritize that purchase as quickly and easily as possible. Here we want to promote accelerated payment methods. We want to have the add to cart button as high as possible, really built for speed. Now, the other side of that is a product detail page that you will send traffic to proactively. This is going to be a product detail page that's really robust in terms of content. This is where, when you're controlling the traffic, you can send your cold traffic there so that you're doing a lot of that storytelling to those users that aren't doing that consumer research on an LLM. That way we can highlight things like social proof, reasons to purchase, a lot of the transactional information, like what is my free shipping threshold? What is my shipping and returns policy? How fast will I get this item? Communicating all of that with some social proofs that we're creating some trust can really create strong symmetry, especially when it's picking up narratives that you've introduced in those acquisition channels. So we're seeing an increase in dual PDPs, one used for speed and one used for storytelling. In the past, we used to kind of do some A/B testing in order to infer what is the larger set of your audience. Do they prefer to be able to purchase quickly, or do they prefer a robust amount of storytelling? Now we're just starting to create one of each and then routing traffic appropriately.
Love it.
Question, Eric, how are you making sure that the bots and non-human sessions are getting to that faster one?
So for the default PDP, I would use your default folder structure on a Shopify storefront, right? Like your default PDP, that's the one that we're seeing get recommended the most. That's the one that's probably going to be connected. The product of that PDP will be connected to a feed, which is going to feed into the offsite, like an instant checkout type experience. We would expect that based on the traditional amount of content and site visits that have happened there, that's going to be the one that ranks above the, almost think of it as like a lander, like a soft kind of like lander page. That's going to be a little bit more custom. It's going to have a more unique URL structure. So that should increase the likelihood that the speed version, right? Think of that as like your existing product detail page. That's the one that's going to show up in those LLM results compared to the one that is, maybe you're using a landing page builder or just like a custom template in Shopify, and maybe that doesn't have that traditional, product folder structure. So that then that's the one that we're routing like effectively like paid traffic and mostly cold traffic to.
Sweet. Love it.
Cool. And to kind of double click on just sort of like the data structure, right? So if everybody's on Shopify, you guys have probably seen the most recent Shopify releases and sort of partnerships with Google around putting together more of a unified structure for how data should be organized on sites in order for better LLM discoverability. We were talking to Shopify, the Shopify engineering team yesterday, and we're actually going to do another event likely next month with Shopify, where we're actually going to break down from Shopify very specifically how you should be structuring your data, not just on site and information on site, but also structuring your catalogs, variant structures, etc., to make sure you're in a great position to be discovered through LLMs. So look out for an email from us probably here in the next month about that event, so we can go in a little bit deeper, specifically with the Shopify team. All right, Eric. Let's wrap it up here with this sort of the number three shift that you're seeing happen right now in the market.
And those product feeds are a perfect segue into this third shift. It's really the rising expectations for commerce everywhere. Just like Dylan mentioned, right? Like search everywhere optimization. We're seeing an increased expectation that users are going to be able to answer every single question that they have about the product itself, as well as the uh, transactional details before they get to the website. They want to understand why you're the best and how quickly they can get it and what other people like them think of it. So that means that your feed content needs to be really, really thorough in order to sufficiently meet the needs of users wherever they are, whether that's in a catalog feed to social or a competitor comparison chart that's been generated by an LLM. Then they need to be able to complete that purchase experience as easily as they would on your website. For example, like when we talk to Shopify, understanding those the formatting of those, really the goal of that, the why, is to make sure that all of our information is accessible in the various LLMs, whether it's Gemini or Claude or ChatGPT, so that if a user has reached a level of confidence to make a purchase before they visit the website, they can do that in those native tools that are going to roll out this year.
Yep, absolutely love it. All right, Dylan, anything you want to add on some of these shifts, or should we go ahead and jump in and start looking at some product page recommendations from you?
Um, yeah, if anyone has questions about it, someone did just ask about duplicate content. Just I'm definitely known as the CRO dude, but one of my arrows in the quiver is that I've been doing SEO since I was 18. That's actually how I paid my bills in college. So if anyone is like SEO, like one other thing just to add, like before, like we'll go right into it before like that I'll leave at the end is uh, everyone has this LLM visibility, call it AEO, AISEO, GEO. I just call it
Yeah.
GEO. I think it rolls off the tongue nicely. So with GEO, everyone's like, well, there's a big debate in the SEO community. Like, it's just SEO. This is what SEO has always been, right? So that's mostly true. If you're not in the top 10 pages, good luck getting picked up in large amounts in the LLMs. So if you're not good on Google and Bing, by the way, that's another little really good one. Bing and Google like different things. Same as all the LLMs. So what Chat likes is different than what Perplexity likes, different than what Gemini likes. That's why, there's different, proposed rankings in each. So really just making sure that like, yes, like to demystify the black box for you guys, it is 80% SEO, 20% search everywhere optimization, knowing about LLMs. So it's mostly SEO. You'll get some uplift. SEO and CRO are the two areas that people don't really invest in. Everyone just focuses on ads, emails, and SMS. Those two other areas that we're talking about here, these are my jam, but like these are the places that you guys probably aren't even focused on and leaving crazy money on the table. So hopefully that helps demystify it a bit.
Awesome. And I think Dylan dropped an answer. You dropped an answer into that duplicate content question, right?
I
in
did.
the chat for everybody who's interested.
Can't
Awesome.
help myself.
Yeah,
Cool.
no, it's perfect. It's great. I think let's go ahead and keep the party moving here, and let's jump into talking about some revenue opportunities on product pages. So first off, we talked about sort of the shifts we're seeing in the market and some opportunities for how to take advantage of those, and make frankly just to make sure you're positioned well as these changes are happening. But also one of the things we just constantly hear from brands, especially in Q1, right, coming after that big massive sort of holiday boost in revenue that we see, is everybody other than sort of health brands, typically see a little bit of a dip, right, going into January, sometimes February, before spring hits. And so, what we want to do to also is give you guys some opportunities to try to get some quick wins here in Q1 to drive up revenue. And so, first off, let's have Dylan talk through what he recommends. As strategies for finding revenue opportunities specifically on the product page. And then we'll have Eric talk through what sort of his number one strategy is that everybody can implement immediately to see a boost in revenue specifically on the homepage. Dylan, do
Sweet.
you want to do a
So
screen share or do you want to talk through it?
yeah, happy to screen share if you want to jump
Yeah.
off of it. I'm a pretty freeform guy. So if you guys have not seen, this is $1 billion websites written by yours truly. 2,000 hours of work plus 10 to 20,000 of actual CRO work. So big whopping $20. It's billiondollarwebsites.com. That's my only plug. Yes, it's a book. There's QR codes all throughout it, but this is like my life's work and everything. Reason I bring it. So there's something that there's something like the second chapter is like what even is a website? And I determined it down to one sentence, which like I just call it the five pillars of a website. And the one sentence that it does is a website is a domain that visually presents an offer and communicates through copywriting and creative assets the unique value of the product and services compared to your competitors. So there's five pillars of a website in that one sentence. It's a little one, but there's the offer as to what you're selling, the value propositions, the copywriting, the creative, and UI UX, right? Those are the five pillars of a website. The 80/20, which I'm sure Eric and Alan, you guys have seen, is copywriting and images. If I was bound to never do anything again, I have a database of 4,000 split tests I ran at my agency. 80% of them are UX and copywriting. Or sorry, not UX, are, images and copywriting. No UX. I'd rather the worst UX in the world, but beautiful images and really hard-hitting copy. It'll work really well. So people over-indexing on like a sticky add to cart and like, like these like drop-down features and like what an accordion looks like. I don't give a heck about those. Care how much do you understand your customer? That's why billion-dollar websites is around the billion-dollar data funnel, which is how I collect, $4 billion companies, collect the right amount of data, understand your customers, give it to them, and print money. That's the whole point. So this all comes down on the PDP ultimately. So I actually tweeted this yesterday. It's got almost 10,000 views on it. I just said I found my new favorite PDP. So I'm just going to screen share and show you guys my new favorite PDP I found. Can you guys see my screen? Chat, yes, no?
Yeah, we got you.
Beauty. All right. So this is a company called Buy Flakes, BYE. Pretty much like it's a good rebrand of like Head and Shoulders.
Hmm.
Really smart company. They're crushing it. I was looking at some stats. They are crushing it. Like, look at how amazing this is. If you are male and you have dandruff, of course you're going to buy this. So effective, we almost feel bad for dandruff. Best smelling, anti-dandruff shampoo for men, right? I'm personally a huge fan of like choosing a gender overall. Like it's actually very effective in marketing, even if you're just segmenting with different landing pages. So this is their homepage, right? So this is great. Look, this is a beautiful image, guys. I don't know about you guys, but I want to go take a shower. This is high ROI. Like this headline and this image right here are probably doing the 80% of the lift on the page. Just that alone. So this is the homepage. Then they do have this as like a hybrid where like they're probably sending some traffic to the homepage, but then some to their little product page right here. I freaking love this. This is amazing. So one thing I always say is in these images, you need a human component, right? It could just be a hand because then people can envision themselves using your product. So it's like this image or this image. This one's going to win every time on a split test or near every time. So that's one thing that you need. Uh, the text is nice and big. By the way, this announcement bar in Dandruff in 2026, get 20% off plus free shipping. That is some of my favorite announcement bar copy I've ever seen. It's a little small in text, but like that's some nerd stuff right there. That's really cool. Uh, the thing of like the subscriptions that they have here, which is so valuable, it's very rare. If any of you guys have subscriptions, you need to give value of like why they should do it beyond just saving money. It's not enough for people to, get that subscription.
And
This,
Dylan, if I can jump in on that too, this
yeah,
is the first time I've seen the Flakes website, but I want to give like a big, like ringing endorsement to the way that they have that set up too, is that it's not nested, right? So many times we see a lot of those subscription apps, like all of that stuff will be nested in a drop down, right? So like it'll be subscribe and save 20%, for example, but you have to go select that proactively and then like a drawer of benefits opens. We want to make sure that those are passively presented to people so that you don't have to proactively decide first, like, oh, I'm going to go subscribe before I see all the benefits. Like, make sure that those are displayed on your product detail page without asking the user to make that decision first that, oh, I have some interest in a subscription. Let me check this box.
I couldn't agree more. I'm actually right now trying to see if I'm trying to see if it's a plugin because this is a plugin I will immediately endorse. Yeah, Form 2. No, this looks to be a truly custom built.
Yeah, it looks custom.
Yeah. Wow, good for them. I like it even more. Yeah, I
Yeah,
couldn't
well
agree with
done.
you more. It's really well done. So yeah, I love this one. So about another thing about sticky add to carts. They should be about typically a trigger point is 25% scroll. So someone has scrolled 25% down the page, then push in your ads card, your sticky ads cart if you're going to do it. Don't have it from the first minute it's there. So they just get overwhelmed. There's a regular ads cart button, there's an ads cart button on the bottom. Now like 25% of your mobile phone is buttons to buy and pay the money. That's not pleasing or, strong. This right here. This is something about the founder or about a human that is on the team. Guys, go frickin' test this, please. And about the founder or about someone who endorses it, like humans are connecting with humans more than ever. And guess what also connects with humans? LLMs. They trust people. If you've heard the EEAT, the authority, trust, all that type of things on traditional SEO, if you guys are familiar, like this adds more, reputability to an LLM than any other work you could do. This one little thing right here. It's literally moves the most needle. They have the comparison, they have great reviews, get to the bottom, another recommended products, artwork. Love it. Amazing. The only thing that I would like to test is I've been finding a trend of, so this is a product carousel, if you're talking like in terms of pure UX proper terms. I've been finding product galleries, you know how like the images are like a little bit below it, like you can see them visually. I've been finding that galleries are starting to outperform carousels, mainly because you can like see all the images right when you get there and you can kind of click on what you want faster than having to like scroll everywhere. And I've seen that a lot in screen recordings as well. It's been very interesting. Like people swipe, they go back, they go back, they go back. So like they spend too much time versus like clicking on it, staying there for 2, 3 seconds, click another 2, 3 seconds. It's great.
Love it. There's a question here, Dylan, for you. What do you think Flake's positioning is? You know, we were talking about positioning earlier. What do you think they're doing well on the positioning side?
It is a anti-dandruff shampoo for men.
Yeah,
Anti-dandruff shampoo for men. Anti-dandruff shampoo for men. Everywhere on the internet, they can get that. Flakes, the anti-dandruff shampoo, for men.
for men. That's the
Everywhere.
positioning. That's the difference. Yep.
Yep. That's what
Yep.
Eric was talking about before of like getting that like, you know, that like one sentence, that one hard-hitting sentence that you have that you use everywhere. That's what it looks
Yep.
like.
Yep. I love it. All right, let's do this. Let's give you guys one more quick win that you guys can be implementing right now immediately to help boost some revenue here in Q1, and then let's start doing some teardowns. So, Eric, if you want to start talking through your strategy recommendation here, and then for everybody who's joining us, if you want to have us tear down your site, we've got about 20 or so minutes. We'll do a few teardowns. Throw your URL in the chat, and we'll take a look.
So I wanted to make this as accessible as possible, right? Rather than saying, here's like this big, complex, like development initiative that you want to take on, I wanted to give you guys really low-hanging fruit. Most Shopify themes have this feature built in. Most people don't use it. That's on your homepage is adding a really like star product showcase so that users can add to cart, they can learn more about the product. It gives you a great way to show off your star product. We're usually going to want to put this in the lower half of a website or of a homepage rather, because what's going to happen is users are going to come to the website and if they know what they're looking for, they're going to go to the navigation. They're going to use the navigation to wayfind to where it is, what they think is a solution to the problem they arrived with. If someone doesn't yet know, if they've been kind of like intrigued, they're interested in what you have, those users are going to be really likely to navigate towards, like, for example, like a bestsellers collection. Like, okay, what is the best and the brightest? But what is the more distilled version of that? It's your star product featured on the homepage with a buy box so that users can make a purchase right then and there. This featured product is usually going to be something that carries a higher than average LTV when part of your first purchase, a higher retention rate. Hopefully, it's something that gives you a positive break even on your customer acquisition cost when someone orders just this item. If not, maybe bundle it up. Buy Flakes was a good example. I noticed their homepage has a buy box just like this on the homepage. I don't know how big their catalog is, so it might be a little bit of a moot point for them, but they have the bundle right there too, so that instead of just buying the shampoo, you're also buying the conditioner so that they can pay themselves back on their customer acquisition cost, at least faster, if not in full. Same with this brand here. This is not a true representation of the placement of this. There's a few sections before they get to this. It's not as prominent as the screenshot looks, but I wanted you guys to be able to see what's going on with this website. But they have a clear star product and you can make that purchase right from the homepage. This is the featured product section is built in a lot of themes out there. If it's not, it's definitely one I would recommend adding. If it is, I would definitely recommend building that out and using it. You probably have very little to lose by adding it to the bottom half of your homepage. But the upside is huge in that for a user who's kind of like poking around, like window shopping, if you will, you're going to guide them straight towards what you know vis-a-vis your customer behavior, what the best place for them to start their exploration of the catalog is.
Awesome. Love it. Super, super easy win. Okay.
Love it.
Dylan,
Beautiful.
anything to
So
add there? Or
I've
do you
got
want
a
to jump into some
couple,
teardowns? Go
yeah,
ahead.
I've got a couple pulled up. So I can go right here. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Let me stop my share if you want to do yours real quick.
Chat, yay, nay?
Are you guys able to see this?
Beauty. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So
Yep.
we care about mobile, rock and roll. Eric, what do you see first?
I see a ton of copy.
Yeah.
A lot of copy.
I think
Yep.
the which is I think an interesting like caveat to like the five pillars you mentioned of website, right? Like this is just too much copy in a single viewport, right? The announcement banner has a high word count. The hero section has a high word count. It's also fluff, right? Fresh materials, familiar icons. Doesn't mean a ton. Now, when you compare that with anti-dandruff shampoo for men, right? Like very, very clear positioning, fresh materials, familiar icons, doesn't have that same level of impact, I think, from a positioning standpoint.
I would agree. There's also a hyperlink here. I'm sure this is an SEO driven brand right here. I just know it. So, shop new editions. Okay. I don't love this sticky search, but I mean, maybe the search works well for them. Conic Designs Reimagined. Yeah, like this copywriting, like, I don't know if this is a bug actually. This view all. It's like double carousels. It looks a little odd to me. This view all. I don't know. I'd take a look at that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, like you were saying before, like to go and actually shop. Should probably have the button right here. Yeah, let's take a look. I've been treating navigation as like an actual page lately because it's so important. So, Eric, Alan, what do you guys see in this nav?
That is something we've been focusing a lot on too. I mean, like if you list out any of your elements, right? Which ones get the most interaction? It's this one right here, right? So when you're thinking about optimization, this is a great place to focus because you'll usually have more people using this than viewing your product detail page. So finding ways to use this as a merchandising tool, right? How do we use this to drive people towards the best items or an item that we want to feature? So we'll often have things like a featured call to action. Right here, like you could kind of make the argument that archive sale is a featured call to action because it has an accent color to it. I would also love to see some imagery in here too, right? Is which might be in some of those nested menus for like kitchen and dining, living room, but it's a really big opportunity to add some visuals so that users are not just shopping based on like the room, but they can visually see some photography of the beautiful items that you have to offer so that they can quickly use that to guide their discovery throughout the catalog.
Couldn't agree more.
Especially
Uh,
for a brand that is design oriented, right? I think it'd be a little bit of a different opinion depending upon the type of brand and audience, but clearly they're selling a product that is purely design oriented. Like you're buying the chair because it looks nice, right? So let's see some visuals.
yeah, other thing too is how you're categorizing these. Almost think like an LLM, right? Like new and best sellers, kitchen dining, living room, outdoor, bedroom. I'm assuming that's decor. Decor could be in any of these.
Hmm.
Clearance and closeout could be any of these. Archive sale could be any of these. Digital gift cards. So plug to heatmap.com, you can see exactly like revenue per click of every element. The biggest win is literally look at the revenue per click of every single, bullet on your navigation. We're the only ones that like have the one click that can do it. So like I would, bet a top dollar the revenue per session or revenue per click of this element right here, pretty darn low. There's so much here. Like I'm looking at this, I have no idea. And then I have this different font, this little icon. There's just so much going on here. I would simplify the heck out of this. Like simple and boring is what you want.
I would also take my heatmap.com account and look at the revenue per click for those top two items because those are both discounted categories. So it's likely that you're giving up profit. I would take that revenue per click and then apply like a general gross margin to that and say, like, okay, if I'm sending people to clearance and closeout, like how much profit am I losing by like downselling them into a sale item as opposed to selling them into like a full price, like kitchen and dining item, for example.
Love it.
Cool.
Cool. Rock and roll. Let's take a look at Yale next one. Scent Air. Hold on before we look. Oh, business solution and home solution. Okay, so we got a little B2B and D2C hybrid potentially. Uh, is this, mm, let's see. Yeah, there's a little bug on this slider. Okay, one thing, guys. If you have a slider, go remove it right now. See what image works best, and just please do it. Sliders were like just proven not to work. Like I've done it so many times. So high ROI win. If any of you guys have a slider, what I would do is a three-way split test. Like for example, there's three images on this site. Run a three-way split test, see which one performs the best. Let it run for at least a month because it's a big one, and then just go with that one. That's it. So big one. I'll be very opinionated about it. One thing I do like, so close but no cigar on this one. Uh, search entire store here. So people make fun of CROs that optimize for microcopy. It's actually huge, team. It's huge. So what you have inside of this search, so, for example, like what it looks like this company does is like diffusers, sample packs. So it's like shop diffusers, bundles, like scents, dot, 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 instead of search entire store here. This is better than most. Most people just say search, dot, dot, dot. So search entire store here is better. It's closer. It's conversational copy. So when you're asking someone to do something, it should be like you're talking to them. If I can't say out loud what's on the CTA, like read it out loud. If it feels weird or wrong, don't do it. Like for example, if this said buy now or if this said check out, be like, well, what am I even buying? I don't know. Right? So like say it out loud whenever you're looking at actions, and it works pretty well. That's what I found. So collection page, let's see what we're looking at. Eric Allen.
Well, first off, especially on mobile, that top banner image is not optimized for mobile. You can't even read the text on it. So I would definitely be at least implementing a mobile specific banner if you're going to do it on a collections page. And I think even that should be tested.
I agree. I've actually seen like just put the name here, right? Like you
Yep.
want them to be focusing on the
On the
products.
product.
Why
Exactly.
distract them?
Yep. Exactly. But if anything, it just looks messy and you can't read it right now.
Yeah, dollar, there's a lot. I would simplify this and add to cart. This is another gripe that I have. Why would I add this to cart when I don't know what I'm adding to cart? That's button copy. Learn more. Shop now. Like, it's like on this page, like it's like you tell someone to go down an aisle in a physical store and you're saying, cool, like want to go buy it? Buy what?
Right. Yeah, there's nothing here that directs the user to find the right product, right? There's nothing here that's identifying or showing me exactly what solves my problem or what I'm looking for. I'm kind of just almost have to click into everything to figure out what it is. There's no identifiers of any kind.
One
Fully
way
agree.
we've been having success tackling that, especially for like a cross-category collection like this is just the shop all, everything is in here. One thing that we've been doing is adding an additional attribute to product listings that contains the parent category. So, for example, Amalfi Coast infused reeds would be there'd be a small line of text below that that says, infusers or whatever amongst the hierarchy of your catalog is the parent category of that, and that would link to the collection. So, for example, if I have arrived at the website and I arrived on the shop all page and I'm looking specifically for infusers, but I'm not quite ready to purchase the Amalfi Coast infused reeds. I can use that as a wayfinding tool to go to a hyper relevant catalog or a section of the catalog in the form of that, infuser collection page.
Amazing. I fully agree. And I just actually went on my honeymoon about 3 months ago to the Amalfi Coast. So let's check out this PDP. All right. I've been seeing these C review summary. Uh, Seeming pretty cool. I haven't actually looked at revenue per click on some of these. This SKU item, get that out of there. Why,
Yeah.
what's that
Well, your
for?
eye gets drawn there thinking it's the price, but I don't see a price, right? And so that throws me off.
It
Yeah.
does throw me off. It did make me think of
Where
something
is the
else.
price?
I don't know. That was my first question. Was where's the price point?
And what is the product form?
Yeah. Yeah. The imagery is very ambiguous, right? In terms of what the actual product is. It doesn't show me, it just shows I guess the elements of the scent, but I don't actually know what I'm buying.
So Erica jumped in and said it's free, but like how am I getting this? I'm not really sure, kind of confused. Oh,
Oh, she's joking.
she's joking. I was like, okay, cool. I don't see any sticky ads card either. I don't even know how I could buy this.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a bit confused by this product page. But you can get a whatever that is.
No, when I went on my honeymoon, I did not get an Amalfi Coast.
Yeah, to add a card, you almost have to go back to the collections page. It looks like it looks like a but oh there you go. But still, oh there you go, price points. Okay. Oh, that's plus 11. What's the base price?
It was at the top on this
Oh,
page.
there it is. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so it is on this one. Maybe that was just one for one of the products.
Yep, agree. Bad padding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Messy
Cool.
layout.
I think hopefully that is more than enough. Let's go to one more while we've got a couple more.
Yep,
Are you guys golfers yourselves?
I am.
Fine.
Yeah. Guilty. What's your handicap?
Too high to share.
Yeah, but I say I'm not disclosing that one live.
Oh, I'm a solid 18.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm mid-teens.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in the upper teens. Okay, cool. What do you guys see?
So one thing, just to pick up on something you mentioned too, is like this is obviously like a huge catalog size. Now, you mentioned the search, right? Like huge catalogs are going to be really, really strongly driven by searches. A session that searches is always, 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 unless your search is like completely broken, that's always going to carry a higher conversion rate than a non-searching session because there's a high amount of intent. We want to make sure, especially with high SKU count catalogs, that users are really encouraged to use that search bar. I might even test like opening that up larger. It's great that the form field is open and it's not just an icon, but I might even consider opening that up even more to like a full width.
There
Perfect,
you
right?
go.
Yeah, like
Amazing.
that on mobile. Like that's perfect for large catalogs like this.
Cool. Love it. Yeah, really cool. Get rid of these double announcement bars. It's like
Agreed.
asking for a kiss and a hug at the same time. It's kind of awkward.
And we
So
find that those are really effective to tailor to the template. So rather than using like a global message that's just like a blanket statement, like what was that? I think it was free shipping 99 plus or something like that, right? Instead of just having that as a global element, make that a page level element because the intent that a user has at uh, different templates of your site is going to be very different. So on a homepage, that's usually going to be like a new user who is unfamiliar with the brand. Usually that's where we'll have success putting like some trust statements or a brand statement, just like some strong brand copy there. Then as a user moves closer to purchase, the free shipping threshold doesn't become relevant until you've found a product that you're considering purchasing. That's the point at which you start to wonder about some of those transactional details. So we find that like that's usually not valuable until someone gets to, for example, a product detail page.
fully agree. One other little CRO hack for you guys. If you have your pop-ups on all the sites that I work on, we have like 30 pop-ups on the website per page. They're based on exit intent. If you're gonna say like if they're on a certain product page and they're going to leave, why not have an image of that product that they're on with the same copy? Tailor those pop-ups to each page. Your conversion rate could go up 4 or 5% globally with no harm and downside on the store. So same way that you would customize your announcement bars, customize your pop-ups. It's huge.
Yeah, I like
Uh,
that.
Yeah, it's a slick little one I learned last year, honestly. So cool. Other thing, by the way, guys, these rotating carousels, I'm starting to see enough data that I am going to make the statement that just like sliders, get rid of them. This motion, so distracting. And they're so
Endorsed.
small. I can't even see what these are, you know? So if this was static of just like, things like that, cool. Oh, this follow us on Instagram. Go take a look at your revenue per click on those. Guarantee it's crap because you're literally asking people to leave your website and go to a different website, which is Instagram, and go scroll on Instagram. It's more fun to scroll on Instagram than it is on Discount Golf Store. So,
Absolutely.
you're begging people to leave.
You get
Uh,
somebody to go to Instagram, they're not coming back.
Yeah.
Exactamundo.
Instagram deploys a lot more resources towards the goal of keeping users on their app than any of us can. So
Yeah.
we want to make sure that that's a one-way street from socials to our storefronts.
So to whoever's site this is, I don't know if I found a bug, but I opened up the nav, closed the nav, that search is gone now. And I don't believe that's intentional.
All right, Dylan, we got about 3 minutes left. You want to do another one real quick, just to give one more
Yeah,
person a
let's
shot?
one more. Drop it for me. Erica, choose you. You did make me laugh. What's your site?
Is that Erica and Hunter? Yeah, Hunter fans.
Hunter fan. Okay. Innovation that moves you forward. Innovation of what?
And I think even the CTA Zentek, right? Like if I am already a customer of Hunter, maybe I know what that means. But I think that could benefit from some explanation of like what is Zentek? What is it valuable? Like why would I want to explore Zentek?
Yeah.
Yeah, agree. Sort of introduces a concept without any explanation of what it is.
Yeah. See, like this sub-headline, so the role of a headline is the dream outcome. If someone uses your product, what do they get? So what you're saying here is they get innovation that moves you forward. It's not really what I'm trying to buy. I'm trying to buy experience of the slimmest, quietest fan yet. That's what I'm trying to buy. It's the dream outcome. How you get there is the vessel, which is the subheadline.
I'll add
Uh,
one more too that may be helpful for the scent company. There's a top utility bar here that splits out the consumer segment, Hunter, and the industrial and consumer or industrial and commercial segment. Those are going to be very different types of users that are going to be looking for very different types of information. So rather than trying to combine those into a single experience, creating specific experiences for those two types of users is really valuable if you're serving both. Like I think the Scent one was like for office or for home, right? Like splitting them out into different user flows it's really helpful because then you can communicate much more relevant information to the needs of each of those users, which is what I expect happens when, yeah, you click over to industrial and commercial, right? Very different fans, very different, even like shopping flow with quotes and more like B2B minded statements.
yep. Another global one team. If you have any font that is below 14 on your website, immediately bump it to 14. It's just not readable. So 13-point font looks really tiny. 13-point font, tiny. Cool. Let's take a look at a PDP real quick. Yep. This is too much. Let's just get a gallery right here. That'll help a ton. Erica. Uh, and then I like this. I like this. Item 53519. I'm not trying to spend $53,000, but it's how a lot of people will read it. Uh, down rods. Yeah, I this is not a very clear upsell. I thought this was a drop down for information. So I'd rework that a bit. Quantity selectors are so 2000 late. That's another one as well. I've seen so much data. Revenue per click sucks so bad on quantity selectors. So just have a full apps cart button. That's what I'm seeing right there. Anything from you, gentlemen? Then I think we're on and out after Zentek.
Yeah, I've got to jump as well, but I would put the just to tack on to the full width add to cart. You can then put that quantity select in your cart so long as the drawer cart opens right away. The user can then still, in the same pattern, add more if they want two of these, right? If you want matching fans for two rooms in your home, sure, you can do that in the cart because that's going to open next, right? It just carries that thought process of add to cart. And then secondarily, how many would you like?
Amazing.
Love it. All right, guys, that's it. We're out of time for today. Dylan, thanks for joining us again, man. This is awesome. Eric, as always, thanks for
Pleasure.
joining us. Guys, I saw some questions being asked about Zero software and uses, all that kind of stuff. If you guys have any questions around Zero or A/B testing on site, you can also go to bluestout.com/strategy, book a call with the team. We're happy to take a look at your site and basically map out a plan for how you can optimize and the type of software you should be using. So feel free to come to bluestout.com, check us out. But thanks for joining, guys. We'll see you on the next one.